God bless you, parents, and welcome to the midnight edition of the Boiling Point, the Watchdog Report. So, today we are going to speak about Terri Mickle, and we're going to explain in her own words what she stands for and what she supports. Now, why are we doing this? Well, because there's been a lot of chatter that the Boiling Point and Mrs. Reed is spreading misinformation about her. Okay, well, because we like to be on the side of truth and accuracy, and we want to be fair to her, let's use her own words to tell you what she supports and what she stands for. And you decide whether I am wrong or I am right. So let's begin. Now, she does have a website up that you can actually go and look at this for yourself. I believe it is Mickle for WSSD.com or Terri Mickle for WSSD.com. And she's being backed up by that organization we spoke about once, West Shore United. And they are all about keeping wokeness in the school and keeping all this mess in the school. So she has a lot of money coming in, guys, from the wrong side of everything. But you know what? Don't let that scare you because we serve a mighty God. And at the end of the day, God has the last word. Now, I want you to keep your ears open for words like inclusivity, um, stereotype, equity. These are words that the left like to use a lot. But we are going to first read what she stands for and then we're going to explain. But again, keep your ears open for those words because those words are red flags. And they sound nice and pretty, but they're really not. It's chicanery, it's trickery. So let's start. Now, this is from her own website, okay? So, this is her and her family and her children. Now, I put little emojis in the face of the children because I'm one of these people that I do not believe that we should display the faces of the children on these sites, and that's for their protection and their safety. She does have beautiful children, and if you want to see, the children, go to her website. But I, on the contrary, will not show it out of respect to the children, out of respect for their safety. Okay, that's why you have the little happy emojis on it. So this is from Terri's own website, and let's see what she supports. Number one, keeping politics out of education. So I nearly fell off my seat when I read that. Schools should focus on student success, academic growth, and community well being, not political agendas. So, first and foremost, it says schools should support community well being. It is not the job of the school, nor the district, to support community well being. Maybe harmony, okay, within the community when they're in the schools and the district building, but community well being is not the job of the schools. It has always been the job of the families, okay, the personal families. It's been the jobs of the churches, of different organizations out there to assist them, but not the school. The school job is to teach, period. Okay. Um, Community well-being and not political agendas. This made me laugh because if you have seen any of her videos when she speaks at the school board, she is all about political agendas. She is all about the left. Okay. Now, this is a little strategy that they use when they're running bipartisan because this is so the conservative parents can find this appealing. But don't be fooled by their words. Don't be fooled by the chicanery, by the trickery. She is all about political agenda. And if you don't believe me, go to the West Shore School District. They have these meetings online and they have archived some of the older ones also. See it and prove it to yourself. And she is also part of the people that have assisted the woke mob in accusing the conservative board members of this bogus Sunshine Act violation that never existed. Okay, so she's a little dirty birdie. I'll let you know that. She looks all nice and cute and innocent. Dirty politics, dirty birdie. Let's continue. Number two, fully funding public school education. Public education is the foundation for opportunity, and if we want to set our children up for success, we need the resources, support, and funding to make that happen. That means advocating for fair state funding, cyber charter school reform, and ensuring resources stay in our district to benefit all students. Now, she is not for parental choice, as you can see. Okay, she is one of the people that have been attacking, along with Adam Trone and Abigail Cherney, the cyber schools at every chance that they get. It's like, I mean, they eat and sleep this thing. Now, let's talk about the cyber schools like we have before. Cyber schools have been there and they have been placed there to fill a gap that the schools have not been able to fulfill. They're there filling this void, and this is what I mean. For many years now, the West Shore School District, okay, have been promoting agendas, social emotional learning, CRT, DEI, LGBTQ, inclusivity, all this foolishness. And they have steered away from classical education. So when COVID came also, it made the situation worse because now with COVID, the kids were learning from home, and thank God in a way that they were learning from home because that's how a lot of the parents became aware what was really happening behind the school doors. Okay, but COVID came, our kids are learning from home, everybody's maxed up. There was no reason for them to be masked up outside that they sold our children for federal funding. Because it's funny, the COVID mandate was also an executive order. Oh, they embraced that. And the reason they embraced that was because there was funding behind it, and a district like the West Shore School District that was already in the red, they took every cent that they could from that COVID funds they were giving to them, the ESSER funds, okay, to help cover their bills. So that meant that in order for them to cover their bills, they had to mask up your kids and delay the learning, especially of the little ones, because you know that with phonetics, the children have to see the way that you speak. They have to see the shape of the mouth, the movement of the mouth. They didn't care. They wanted the money, so they sold your children for federal funding for the ESSER funds, masked up your kids, and the education went down even further. We were already challenged at that point before COVID hit scholastically. This made it even worse. But this little ninny here that you see, she was one of the people advocating for the children to be masked also. Okay, so the cyber schools have been filling a void for a while now. With the West Shore School District, why have the parents been pulling their kids out? Well, first and foremost, the bullying, the violence, and the drugs. And yes, we know that the superintendent that we have denied through every corner that this is not happening in the West Shore School District. We know that it is. I have proven to you guys that it is, and I have proven it to him that it is. That he, like the ostrich, is putting his head in a hole to deny it. Okay, that's one thing. But the fact is still the fact. The bullying and the violence and the drug is there, and he refuses to find a resolution to this. Absolutely refuses. So that's one of the reasons. Actually, that's three right there of why parents are pulling their kids. Number two, there's no classical education anymore in the West Shore School District. These kids are being passed from grade to grade to grade to grade. They can be in eighth grade with a second grade reading, score or average, and they're fine with that. They can care less. Okay, they can care less. But they want you to put the kids in special ed. They want you to put the kids on Medicaid, okay, and all this other stuff because when the kids are on Medicaid, the school gets funding. All right, so we have bullying, drugs, and violence. We have lack of education. The kids are not being educated correctly. They're being indoctrinated with pronouns and CRT and social emotional learning and inclusivity and all this other crap. All right. They're not learning a thing. So there's four reasons right there: bullying, violence, drugs, no education, indoctrination. So, yes, after a certain point, and then they do not want to handle anything, they try to silence the parents. Okay, they challenge the parents. Parents have been yelled at, and if they get a principal like Granger, not only yelled at, but kicked out of their office. Kids get bullied, the bully gets rewarded, and the kid that's victimized get victimized further by the school staff, by the administration, by the administrator. So who in their right mind is going to want to keep the kids in public school? I mean, really, who? And then public school is the foundation. Public school, like I stated one time in the previous video, that public school was always an experiment because at one time in America, school was homeschool or they had schools and churches. That was the education system. Public school came a little bit further down the road. And this experiment became the norm. But just by looking at the West Shore School District, you can see that that experiment failed. They failed our kids. Now our schools are a hot mess, a violent place. They're not learning a thing. So who would want to keep the kids in public school? But this lady here, every chance she gets, along with her cronies, they're attacking cyber school parents, and cyber school kids. But they are all refusing to answer a crucial question. And that question is, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to stop the bleeding? What are you doing to stop the hurt? What are you doing to rectify this? All you hear is crickets. But we need cyber school reform. No, we need public school reform. We need reformation at the West Shore School District, beginning with administration. And then by voting these clowns out and not allowing people like Terri Mickle in. So let's continue to point number 3: encouraging parents and community involvement. Foster open communication, transparency, and engagement with parents, educators, and the community in decision making. So, this community and decision making stuff, there is a parental group in the West Shore. I believe they're called Voices of the West Shore or something to that effect, or Voices of the Parents, something to that effect. Now, this group of people have been working alongside the administrator to make decisions for what they feel is best for our students and the family. The problem is, although that sounds nice and dandy, right? But the problem is this: that those parents and that administrator and any administrative staff involved in that process, they are all woke. They are all liberal. Many of the conservative parents have asked, how do we get involved with this group? They do not want conservative parents in that group. The doors are closed to the conservative parents. Our own Christy has tried, okay, to become involved. They will not open that door to the conservative parents. She have asked the administrator, she has asked the administration. All you hear is crickets. And I'll be brave enough to say it. A lot of the people in the board does not know what happens behind the door of those meetings. And the way we found out was two things. Number one, these bozos were having these meetings in the administrative building. That's a no-no. And number two, they made the mistake of including it in an agenda. And that's when the conservative parents were like, well, who are these people? And we went researching and we found out. But they refuse, understand what I'm saying? They refuse to allow conservative parents in that group. And Terri Mickle is one of them. What are they hiding? Number 4, Responsible budgeting with fiscal transparency. Supports smart financial planning that prioritize students, teachers, and long-term district stability. Well, if that's the fact and that is what she believes, then why was she one of the people applauding Brian Geiswhite when he came up with his 10-year plan to tax to the max the citizens of Cumberland County in order to open these new schools when they couldn't afford it? Now, I'm not saying not to open any new schools. If we need a new school, okay, one or two, whatever they may be, because the ones that they have, may say maybe they're dangerous, maybe they have asbestos, or they're falling apart. That's one thing. But the thing is that these schools, okay, they look like something out of a magazine, and the monies that they're using in the material is super expensive. Now they'll say there, oh, we are trying to get the cheapest material. They came down on Sandra Gonzalez. She's candidate at Region 3 because she made, according to them, a mistake calling the flooring that they used for one of the school as marble. Now, she didn't say marble. She said a marble sort of style material. So they came down on her like crazy about this. So no, it wasn't marble. It was terrazzo, and terrazzo is a long-lasting material. But what they failed to tell the taxpayer is that terrazzo can become expensive. Um, terrazzo, the price depends, number one, on the thickness. Number two, on the width, on the size of it. If it's a big area that needs to be, covered with terrazzo, yes, it's going to be expensive. And if it has any patterns, and apparently this material had pattern because she said marble styled, so that means that there was a pattern to it, and they spend the money. They haven't disclosed how much they spent, but they spend the money. But she wasn't wrong. Okay, so you can say it's terrazzo, like Geist White was, jumping down her throat. It's terrazzo, and so they stouts because they feel that they need to correct. But terrazzo can become expensive, guys. Can become expensive. So she's saying that she is for responsible budgeting and financial transparency, but she was one of the people that applauded and backed up Guy White with his 10-year brain fart here that's breaking the back of the citizens of Cumberland County. And a lot of our citizens are, retired veterans on disability, on SSI, and elderly. They can barely afford the medication, and now we have to pay because somebody didn't know that one plus one is two and got us into a financial bind here, and they're taxing us to the max. And she's one of the people that supported it, but she's for responsible budgeting and financial transparency. Okay, if you say so. Number five, promoting a well rounded, inclusive curriculum. There's one of those words, inclusive curriculum. Ensure students have access to diverse perspective, accurate content, and a broad curriculum that prepares them to be a productive citizens in the future. Okay, so the responsibility of our children being productive citizens in the future belongs to we the parents, not the schools. So let's just make that clear. Okay? Let's make that clear. Now, inclusive curriculum. That is one of those words, guys. And what does inclusive mean? When they say inclusive curriculum, they're talking about CRT, SEL, LGBTQ, anything woke that you can think of, DEI, is their inclusive curriculum. Basically, it's more of the LGBTQ um, DEI mess that she wants to keep in the school, and she's been an advocate of that. Now, I laugh here because it says accurate content. So let me show you one of the accurate contents that the school has taught. My son came from school on Friday and he was asking me questions and he showed me this. This is a class that he's taking, government. The teacher is Mr. Riley at Cedar Cliff High School, and they were talking about a political spectrum. Now, this spectrum here is not new. This is something that used to be taught in college. Okay, and of course, it's wrong in, in every aspect. It's wrong. It was wrong back in the day, and it's still wrong. But now that he's teaching it to our 11th graders. So as you can see, it's a political spectrum. They have communism and socialism on the left. Underneath, they have liberals and Democrats because the liberals and Democrats do support communism and socialism. In the middle, you have the moderates. That's what they want the kids to be, bipartisan moderates. Okay. And then towards the right, you have the Republicans, the conservatives, the nationalists, and the funny thing is, he tells me that they have to take online this like online survey to see where they will fall, to see what their political spectrum is. And almost every kid, he told me, came out to be Democrat. Almost every kid. But under nationalism, the survey explained nationalism, and I wish he had taken a picture of that, but because they can't have the phones anymore, see? Okay, anyway, under nationalism, they have a category that's called faith and country. No, faith and flag. Faith and flag. I said, faith and flag, what is that? He goes, well, if you are a Christian, well, in your religion, and you are a patriot, that's a bad thing because you're a nationalist. And then if you're a Republican and a conservative and you have Republican conservative views, that's a bad thing because you will fall on the fascist, on the fascism. So is this the accurate curriculums and accurate classes that this woman's talking about? No, we got to get this crap and this trash out of the schools, guy. We really do. All right, so that was number 5. Number 6, teacher and staff deserve respect, professional development, competitive pay, and the resource they need to support learners. Now, I agree that. I totally agree with that. However, like I've said in the past, I believe that the pay for the teachers should be performance based. If they are performing well as a teacher, then they are entitled to their raise. If they're not, then we need to review them or put them on some sort of probation until they get their act together and are able to teach accurately, correctly, and our kids are showing through their performance that they're learning, not an automatic raise because they've been there X amount of years. It should be performance based. But let's continue. Number 7, prioritizing special education and student support. Ensure that we offer equitable, there's that word again, guys, equitable resources and inclusive, there's that word again, inclusive policies to meet the need of all students. So these inclusive policies, of course, it favors the LGBTQ kids. It does not favor our conservative kids. Our conservative kids have been bullied to be silenced. Our conservative kids have been bullied to well, be silent, not speak up. If they speak up about their views, if they believe that a man is a man, a woman is a woman, they are reprimanded. They are labeled by student and staff as homophobic and transphobic. It's all about the inclusivity and new policies to help the LGBTQ kids. I believe that a student is a student. It doesn't matter if they're LGBTQ or not. You should teach. You should actually treat and teach the children equally. This equitable stuff is not a good thing. So let's talk about what they mean when they say equitable resources and what this is. You see, the thing is this, guys, that they use terms that people, it sounds nice, right? It sounds really nice, but it's not. That people haven't heard before, not fully understand what it means. So it's chicanery, it's semantics. But let's talk about where are we? Number 7, about the equitable resources here. Fair allocation of resources. So equitable resource distribution refers to the fair allocation, they say fair allocation of resources. ensuring that all individuals and communities have access to what they need to thrive, regardless of their social, economic status, geographic location, or other factors. So basically, the other factors are if they're, LGBTQ or not, social, economic status that shouldn't come into play at all when it comes to education, and nor the geographical location. So that is what they mean. Now let's take a look at what equality versus equity means, because you're going to hear that word equity everywhere. Equity, equity, equity. Equity is not a good thing, guys. Equity is not a good thing. You want equality, you don't want equity. So equality means that each individual group of people is given the same resource or opportunity. Okay. Um, Equity, on the other hand, recognizes that each person in their mind has a different circumstance and allocates the same exact resources and opportunity for them to reach an equal outcome. Listen, let's look at the chart. On equality, you'll all have that first stepping stone. Okay, it's up to you to continue to build, forward, and it's up to you, okay, to reach for the stars and obtain it. You have the same opportunity that everybody else has. But with equity, what they're saying is that you're too stupid to reach it, you're too poor to reach it, your lifestyle, you're marginalized, you can't reach it. So the guy that first little guy here, that's standing on his own 2 feet, can has the tools to stand on his own 2 feet. You do not, so we have to cater to you. It's the same concept of communism. They've been teaching that communism is a good thing. It's not. So with communism, I'm working. Okay, I'm working 16 hours a day. When I get my money goes to you. Only a little portion stays to me. So I'm working for you. So I'm doing all the work and you're getting all the credit. It's the same thing educationally. One kid's doing all the work, everybody else is getting all the credit for it. No, everybody in the United States of America has the same right to learn, has the same right to achieve, has the same right to reach for the stars. Okay. The only person that can stop you is you. I shouldn't have to cater to you because your father makes $10 less than me, okay? Or you come from a different country, or you're what they call marginalized. Okay. So this is what this woman believes. Equity is not a good thing, guys. You want equality, not equity. Okay. Number 8, investing in safe and modern school facilities. Advocate for upgraded infrastructure and maintain to create safe, welcoming, and well-equipped learning environments. That means, guys, more taxes, because what she's doing there, see, she's talking on both sides of the mouth. What she's doing there is she's supporting that more taxes break their back, tax to the max mentality. I'm for, if we need a new school, I'm for to keep it, to maintain it. I'm for keeping the equipment, in good maintenance, having well equipped learning environments. I'm all for that as long as we have the money in the budget. And right now we don't. Okay, why? Because of Brian Geiswhite. We don't, because of his bad decisions, because of his bad projects. We don't. So this right here, what it's saying is, I mean, it's great if we can afford it, but if we don't have it, we don't have it. Thank God that now we are, starting to fix the natatorium. That has to take precedence, because in the years of disrepair, Brian Geisler, Abigail Turney, Fred and Chris Cambick, Moyer, Krasinski, what is this guy's name? Capranos, Stoltenberg, they can care less that it was in disrepair. I remember being in meetings with parents begging them to fix the natatorium because, kids were cutting up their feet. It was overheated. It was dangerous. In one ear, out the other. Thank God that now with the conservative board, okay, with Heidi Thomas and Kelly Brand and Mandy Davis and David Brenton and Brenda Cox, something is being done. It's finally being fixed, because it's something that our kids need, because they have swimming teams and things of that nature, but our community also uses it. Okay. So yeah, I'm for stuff like that, that needs to be repaired before it totally crumbles and we have a bigger problem. We have a problem as it is because for all these years, like Abigail Turney, I was sitting in facilities for 10 or 11 years. So what did you do in facility? Not a daggone thing, because nothing was done when it came to the natatorium. Don't sit there and tell me we didn't have the money, because if we have the money for all these crazy projects that you guys were doing, okay, we should have had the money to fix that natatorium. I'm all for the Red Land Project, and keep in mind that the Red Land Project, a lot of money there are grants. I'm all for that. But, in the financial situation that we're in, we have to look at this from every side. Okay. If we can afford it, great. If we can't, oh well. Okay. It needs to wait. Implementing full day kindergarten. Give all students a strong foundation upon which they can build their learning and improve district learning outcomes. Okay, listen, I'm all for full day kindergarten. However, this has been discussed this year in the meeting, and they actually gave a very good presentation as to why we cannot afford it at the moment. That's not to say that a little further down the road, we're not going to have it. Yes, we are. But because of the debt that we're in and because of the other things that must take priority, this has to wait. But she is parroting this along with Adam Trone, and this is going to be one of her broken campaign promises because we don't have the money. Can we find a spot in one of the schools? Yes, but then we have to pay the teachers. Now, with the teachers come benefits, okay? Then we have the lunches. Then we have the equipment that we need for the kids. Then we need the furniture that we need for the kids. Then we have the busing that we need for the kids. All this comes into play. Right now, we probably have enough. We have a space. We have maybe to, we have, we are able to pay maybe a few teachers, but we don't have the funding at the moment due to this 10-year project of opening new schools that Brian Geisweit got us in, and we're in the hole. We don't have the money, and she knows it. So Terri Mickles knows it. So why would she even come up with number 9? I don't know. Outside that she's parroting her buddy, the communist Adam Trone. Okay, we don't have the money. She knows it and he knows it. So they got to sip it up. They got to sip it up when it comes to this. We don't have the money. We were all sitting in the meeting when they brought a specialist that gave a presentation and explained it beautifully. We can't afford it. Oh, but she's for financial responsibility and, and smart budgeting. Are you? Are you? Because here is not, it doesn't sound too smart to me when you know we can't afford it at the moment. Number 10. Maintaining rigorous academic standards. Maintain West Shore's commitments to excellence while using multiple measures to assess students and teacher success beyond standardized testing. What they're talking is about more surveys, guys. More surveys. And understand that a parent can say no to the surveys. The survey should be opt in and not opt out. And that's something that hopefully they will push forward. It needs to be pushed forward. So she's for more surveys. Okay, that's her way of saying it. So, promoting a well rounded, inclusive curriculum means creating high quality teaching and learning environments that are accessible, flexible, and support student development. It involves challenging stereotypes. So, when they say challenging stereotypes, is you're stereotyping, the LGBTQ folks. So, that's what it's about. Because as you can see, it's not about stereotyping the conservatives, because according to them, what they're teaching in their classroom is that if you are a Republican, a conservative, a Christian, then you are a fascist. Okay. So it's not about them, it is about the LGBTQ people. Providing accurate representation of all people, of who? Of the LGBTQ people? Because like I said, if you're a conservative, if you're on the right, if you're proud of your country, if you're proud to be a Christian, you're a fascist, according to the lesson being taught in Cedar Cliff High School. Okay, you are a fascist. And ensuring that all students can learn. Well, Terry, all students can learn. They really can, as long as we have the correct teachers, the correct curriculum, as long as there is equality, well, has always been in the schools of the United States until recent. We treat our children equal. They all have the ability to learn. We have teachers teaching them the accurate things and not all this indoctrination that we have. We bring back classical education. All kids can learn. So you already saw, okay, from her website what she stands for, right? Now, I'm going to tell you in my terms what she stands for. And if you think I'm wrong, let me know because we got to be fair, right? So, why I do not support Terri Mickle. I believe that Terri Mickle is the wrong candidate for Region 2, and Terri Mickle is the wrong candidate, period, for any school board. She supports the LGBTQ agendas. Did we not just read that? She supports men and women's sports. You want to confirm that further? Come to the August 10 meeting, guys, and confirm it for yourself. She supports transgenders' bathrooms. Pull up some of the videos from the West Shore School District. Convince yourself. She's against parent choice. We just read it. She's against parents' rights. We just read it. She supports critical race theory. She supports pornographic novels in our school libraries. She supports diversity, equity, and inclusion. She supports social emotional learning. She supports mental health evaluations of your child without parental consent. She supports frivolous spending. She supports higher taxes. She supports all woke agendas. Did we just not read that? We just read that. All of this. So how am I wrong? Can somebody please tell me something? Did the cheese fall off my cracker? Or did we just not finish reading that? She is running bipartisan to hide the fact that she is not a conservative nor a Republican. So please, people, do not be deceived. Do we really need another woke advocate in the West Shore School District? I would say, guys, say no to Terri Mickles. Our children deserve better. You vote for Mickle, you're going to put us in a bigger pickle here in the West Shore School District, guys. I'm telling you. Say no to this woman. She's a dirty birdie. It's about dirty politics. It's about agendas. It's about furthering her cause. It's about furthering her political view and continuing to bring it into the classroom. Please say no to Terri Mickle, guys, or you will remember my words. Okay, you will definitely remember my words. So, who should we vote for Region 2? For our current school board president, Kelly Brent. Now, Kelly Brent is working on fixing the natatorium. Finally, somebody had the backbone to do it. Kelly Brent is fighting for the Redland project that people like like Terri Mickles and her buddies are fighting against. Okay, the one leading the pack against it is Abigail Turney. Anyway, um, Mrs. Brent is fighting for the Redland project to come to fruition. And please keep in mind that most of the monies for the Redland project are from grants. Okay, the natatorium needed to be fixed. It was long overdue. She is right now with the conservative board working on implementing a policy that will not allow men, whether they are biological men, whether they identify as a woman or not, they're still biologically a man, to participate in women's sports and protect our daughters. And I thank them for that because our daughters need to be protected. Um, she has faced the cancel culture. Terri Mickle, along with her buddies, okay, because she was involved in this too, let's be sincere here, called a cancel campaign on the business of Mrs. Brent's husband and Mrs. Brent's business. And praise God Almighty that they were not successful. Okay? So Kelly Brent has stood up to the woke mob. And she has, taken a lot of this attack and name calling and verbal abuse, because if you look at these meetings, she was verbally abused from day one, beginning with Cambic. Okay? Beginning with Cambic. From day one. And when she became president, did you guys see how Abigail Turney abused her? Okay, that was around Christmas. Verbally abused her. She has sat there and she has proven what grace under fire is. Because let me tell you, would it have been me, that would have ended a whole different way. You guys would have been bringing the popcorn to the meeting. Because I would have gotten Jesus C on them. I would have been flipping tables. Flipping tables. She has put up with the fake York dumpster, the York Dispatch, which I call the York dumpster. Her and the conservative board, constantly, I mean, just writing the most horrible, lies, propaganda against them. I mean, nothing that they put out is truthful, not a thing. They could be sitting right there in the meeting, and she could be wearing a purple dress, and they'll say that she wore a blue dress. Okay, they do it on purpose. Why? Because they're friends with Abigail Turney, they're friends with Danielle Trump, they're friends with Terri Mickle and their gang. Okay, those little minions, and they're doing it to further their cause. And ABC 27 is doing the same thing. They come to the meeting, they sit in the meeting, they're hearing everything, they're seeing everything, and they come and give it a different spin. Kelly Brent, every time I hear the phrase grace under fire, she's the one that comes into mind because she has been graceful under all the fire and attacks that she has put up with. And she's not doing it to give herself a name. She's not doing it because she has political ambitions. She's doing it to protect your kids. Right now, the conservative board is the line of defense that you have between the woke mob and your kids. And they are fighting tooth and nail for your kids. Kelly Brent is fighting tooth and nail for your child. She's fighting tooth and nail to bring scholastic excellence to the West Shore School District, to bring classical education. She fights against this woke mob, this woke agenda. Kelly Brent wants to keep politics out of school because it's not the conservative bringing the politics in. No, it's people like Terri Mickle and her friends. So I would encourage you, Region 2, to make sure that when you go out to vote, you vote for Mrs. Kelly Brent. Close your ears and your eyes to what the York dumpster is saying. And if you want to confirm that it's not true, come out to these meetings. See it for yourself. See it for yourself. Don't believe the York dumpster. Don't believe people like Terri Mickles. So with that, I would say if you're going to support anybody, support Kelly Brent. Kelly Brent for change. Positive change. Not the trash can that you see here. And I don't mean her. I mean what I have written here. The trash can that she's going to bring back into the West Shore School District. We're trying to take the trash out, and she's bringing the trash back in. So, guys, it's time that we finish the work of cleaning out the West Shore School District. And again, you see what she stands for. Tell me where I'm wrong. Terri Mickle is the wrong candidate for any school district in this country. So this is Mariana from the Boiling Point, wishing you a good morning. This is the midnight edition, and we will be howling out truths. God bless. Good night, and goodbye from the Boiling Point.
Trapped again, and fate as always has me wrapped again. I always get caught in my life of sin, but I just keep on going back again. You know I'm lost again, when all I wanted was to find a friend, someone that I can always depend on to help me find my life again.